You know, when a serious illness comes into your life, it does way more than just attack your body. It can shake the very foundations of what you believe. But what if that shaking isn't a failure? What if it's actually the start of a really profound transformation? Let's kind of dig into how that whole process works.
This quote, it just gets right to the heart of what we're talking about. See, the journey through a serious illness, it isn't just a pass-fail test for your faith. It's really about how that faith gets completely reshaped, often into something quieter, deeper, and way more resilient than you ever could have imagined. So, where does this all begin? Well, we all kind of have a story in our heads, right? About how life is supposed to go. But then a serious diagnosis hits, and it can feel like someone just ripped a huge tear in that fabric, challenging every single thing you thought you knew about fairness and how the world works.
And here's the thing you've got to remember. This feeling is so common. If you have ever felt your beliefs get fragile during a crisis, that is not a sign of weakness. In fact, so many spiritual traditions see this as a totally normal and even a really meaningful part of the whole journey.
Okay, now we get to what is, for many, one of the toughest stages. That moment where what you believe crashes head-on with what you're actually experiencing. This is where those huge, gut-wrenching questions start bubbling up from a very deep place of hope and, well, expectation.
The very first question is usually the most raw. And we're not talking about some intellectual puzzle here, right? It's a cry straight from the heart, just trying to make sense of a world that suddenly feels like it's gone completely off script. And then, of course, there's the question of timing. The shock of it all just makes you wonder, why now, of all times? You start searching for a reason, any kind of pattern, just something to explain this sudden, massive disruption.
And this one, why me? Wow, this might be the most personal and isolating question of all. It speaks right to our core sense of fairness. And when that feels violated, the struggle can feel intensely lonely.
And I really want to pause and make this crystal clear. Asking these questions does not mean your faith is failing. It means you are being honest. It means you're refusing to just look away from the painful reality right in front of you. And that kind of honesty, that's a form of strength.
And believe it or not, this honesty can even bubble up as what feels like spiritual anger. A question like, why have you abandoned me? That doesn't come from a place of disbelief. It comes from that painful gap between a deep trust and a really difficult experience. It's an ancient, authentic cry. And this leads us to a really important idea, lament. It's not just complaining. It's a real spiritual practice of crying out in distress. I mean, think about it. A faith that can't handle those messy, honest, difficult emotions, it becomes brittle. It's going to crack. But a faith that actually makes space for lament, well, that's a faith that can bend without breaking.
At the same exact time, you might find that words, they just fail you. Prayer, which maybe used to be a huge comfort, can suddenly feel hollow, empty. And that silence can be really unsettling, but it often signals a big shift, a move away from thinking of prayer as, well, transactional, like a way to get things, and towards something much, much deeper. Okay, so what does all this struggle, all this questioning, where does it lead? It leads to this really profound shift in perspective. This is the point where the very purpose of faith can begin to change, moving away from needing to provide answers and towards simply providing presence.
This chart here, it lays out that whole shift perfectly. See, on one side, you've got faith as an explanation. You're trying to solve the puzzle of why. But on the other side, it becomes about relationship. The question totally changes from, why is this happening, to, who is with me in this? The goal isn't to get an answer anymore, it's to experience companionship right in the middle of it all.
And that's why community is just absolutely crucial. We're not just talking about the practical stuff, like meals or a ride to the doctor. A community offers emotional care, a sense of belonging, and, this is so important, it can hold on to faith for you when your own belief just feels too heavy to carry.
And of course, we absolutely have to talk about the caregivers, because they're on their own spiritual journey right there with you. For them, faith often becomes an action. It's that simple but profound commitment to just show up, be present, and love, even when absolutely nothing is certain. So after all of this, where do you land? Well, it often leads to a faith and a hope that feels a lot quieter, but wow, is it so much stronger. It's all about redefining what's meaningful, right here, in the present moment.
Your whole idea of what hope even is starts to change. You kind of let go of demanding a specific outcome, like a cure, and instead you start to believe in the possibility of meaningful moments right now. It's this huge shift from demanding a clear future to just trusting that love and connection are what really matter today.
So ultimately, this reshaped faith is all about endurance. It's that quiet willingness to just keep going, to keep loving, to keep connecting, to keep searching for meaning, even when you have zero certainty. It's a faith that has actually made peace with the questions.
So, what's the big takeaway here? This isn't a story about losing faith. Not at all. It's about gaining a totally different kind of strength. A strength that has stared suffering right in the face and has made the conscious choice to just continue. To keep going, to keep loving, and to believe that connection, in the end, still matters more than anything else.